Hello friends, here is my reflection on the 12th day of our consecration to Jesus through Mary. And the reading as usual is taken from my Imitation of Christ, Book 1, Chapter 25. The moment I started reading through the passage, one thing became clear to me, or even clearer, and that is the need for more action of the Holy Spirit in my life to enable me live out the life that I preach. And I'm happy that Father Jude mentioned this yesterday. The problem is not in preaching or teaching others, it is in the way I live out the corrections that I make in others. Now, look at the serious caution sounded by the writer. Quote, he said, "Study also to guard against and to overcome the faults which in others frequently displease you. Make the best of every opportunity so that if you see or hear good example, you may be moved to imitate it. On the other hand, take care lest you be guilty of those things which you consider reprehensible, or if you have ever been guilty of them, try to correct yourself as soon as possible. As you see others, so they see you." Close quote. Brothers and sisters, this is serious. I had an experience last year which quickly came to my mind when I read the first paragraph. You see, I try as much as possible to encourage my first son to dress responsibly and avoid things like sagging trousers and so on and so forth, the running stuff for them. So he knows that his daddy hates certain styles of life. So on his own, he started trying to apply decency in some things he did, watching daddy. But sometime last year, late last year, my son came across one of my old pictures. Picture I took around, that should be plus or minus 1989, when men were boys. He confronted my wife with it. He said, "Mom, Daddy encourages me to live a decent life." My wife told me anyway what he said. He said, "But I saw one of Daddy's old pictures, and the haircut must have been the reigning stuff back then. Mommy, it was stylish. Daddy's haircut was very stylish. Yet, he says I must not join my mates to wear sagging trousers." So my wife told me about all that my son said. I said, "Wow, hey." So I called my son and started explaining things to him. You know, how I managed to flee the fashion extremes of my time and so on and so forth. And I put things in the right perspective for him, telling him why certain fashion styles were very wrong and offensive to God and to Mother Mary. But that's by the way. After that experience, I realized that as I mentored my son, he was judging me with the same standard that I was setting for him. If Daddy preaches modesty to me, then he must have lived a modest life also. So, when the writer says, quote, "As you see others, so they see you," I got it right there. I'm like, if my son could judge me based on the standards that I preach to him, who knows how other souls that I interact with judge me? So I believe that leaders of souls should be very careful on this, or anybody. So I need to be careful with the songs my son sees me listening to, or the movies he sees me watching. You don't even need to be a leader of soul to know this. People like us who are consecrants should be careful too. I actually need the action of the Holy Spirit to help me fit into the mold that I'm designing for others. And consecration to the Immaculate Heart of Mary is the shortest way to receive the enabling action of the Holy Spirit to be able to practice what one preaches. Another sentence that got me thinking in today's reading was this. It's a quote. He who does not overcome small faults shall fall little by little into greater ones. Close quote. There was a time I stopped saying my rosary for weeks. Hey, not because I hated the rosary. How did it start? It started by my skipping my daily rosary on some days and replacing it with another good spiritual exercise. I had good reason for that in my mind. If I skip today, I pray the rosary tomorrow and skip the next, and maybe I pray it by weekend. So I was just being careless with my routine, daily routine on the rosary. Gradually, I did not know when I stopped saying my rosary entirely for weeks. The devil is a liar. Such small acts of negligence led to a bigger fault. I also blame this on myself. Carelessness. Finally, another part of the passage that touched me was from the very last paragraph. It says, quote, "Watch over yourself, arouse yourself, warn yourself, and regardless of what becomes of others, do not neglect yourself." Close quote. And then he concluded by saying, the more violence you do to yourself, the more progress you will make. Close quote. Yeah. Do you know that some years ago, I had this disturbing experience, but my spiritual director helped me anyway. The more I spent time preaching to others, the emptier I felt. And if such trend continues, I start experiencing spiritual decline, descent into emptiness. Later, my spiritual director explained to me that I need to do retreat once in a while to recoup, to recheck myself, equip myself, and come out better. He said that I should never forget that the number one candidate that I have to save is my soul. Hey, so I need to willingly make out quiet times daily and allow the Holy Spirit through Mother Mary to revive me, to show me my sins to my face, to caution me, and then give me peace and strength to forge ahead. This is very sensitive and serious, and that advice has kept me on my toes and kept me moving, kept me running, kept me, kicking till today. I wish you will imitate that if you buy the idea. But it helped me, and it will help and work for you also. That will be all for now. Meet you in the knowledge of self. We have successfully knocked off the first 12 preliminary days, and we are looking to the Holy Spirit to help us to realize ourselves. See you tomorrow in the knowledge of self.